Well, today's service is based on the theme, and you guys know what Jesus said. He said some really wonderful things, and one of the things happened, and for the kids to understand, when Jesus was doing his ministry, some people thought he was a very, very important person, and he was. And they thought, well, Jesus is going to want to talk with the important people. They thought Jesus is going to want to talk with, like, the rulers and the people with power in the community and the teachers in the synagogues and stuff. He wouldn't have. Do you think Jesus would have any time for children? Well, the disciples didn't think so. They probably thought, have anybody ever, now children, has anybody ever accused you of being loud and noisy and distracting? And I think the disciples might have thought, Jesus doesn't need that bother, and it bugs us that all these kids are in the way. And Jesus said something, and it's translated in our old King James Bible. Jesus said, suffer the little children to come unto me. And do you know what the word suffer means in that context? It means suck it up, disciples. The children can come to me. I like them. That's what the actual Greek said, right? Suck it up, princess. So Jesus was saying, I've got all the time in the world for these little ones. In fact, did you know that he said something even more about children? You do. He knows.
Yes.
He's going to play dumb. So Didn't Jesus said, unless you enter the kingdom of God as a child, you have no part with me? Yeah. Unless you enter the kingdom of God as a child, you will have no part. That can be hard to understand because Jesus said some things that were hard to understand. He told one guy, and we remember it, and it's important, he said, you must be born again. And the guy said, that doesn't sound possible. How can you be born again? Like I'm too big to be born. And when he said you can only enter the kingdom of heaven as a child, some of us would say, we're not children anymore. What about us? So we decided to do this, to kind of give an idea of what Jesus' teaching was about. We're going to open the gates again, and the gates are open. Do you remember going to the carnival, and you'd want to go on a ride, and there was a sign that said, you have to be at least this tall to go on the ride? Wasn't that a bummer? That was, we don't want to see, if you saw a sign today that said you have to be at least this tall to go on this ride, you'd go, oh, come on, I'm a grown-up. I should be able to go on the ride. I want to go on the ride. But what about us when we see a sign like this? You have to be this short to enter the kingdom of God. How can a person become shorter? Well, let's test this out. Before Ollie comes up, because he's given every role in this service, I'd like to invite some of the younger kids. Maybe Petra and Natalie, and would any of the young kids like to try going through the gate and see if you're short enough to go through the gate? Just a little bit higher, maybe. Oh, yep, looks like Petra's going to be able to go. Is Petra short enough to go through the gate? Petra made it through the gate, go on, yay! Oh, look, and Natalie's coming up. And Evie's coming up. They're all short enough to enter. Come on up, Ollie. Oh, Ollie, we're in trouble. We're in trouble, Ollie. Step up. Oh, Ollie, you can't go in. You're too tall. Neither can I. How are we going to fix this? I know there's a story that Jesus told, and if you could help me, we'll tell the story and we'll see if it helps fix this problem. How can we become shorter to enter the kingdom of heaven? So Jesus told this story about two people who went to the temple to pray, and they wanted to come into the presence of God. And Jesus said the first guy was a Pharisee. He was well-dressed, and he was a righteous guy in the eyes of everybody. He was such a good guy that when he came into the temple, he said, hi, Jesus, I am so good. I am amazing. I tithe everything. I follow all your commands, and you're just going to be so happy to have me enter your kingdom. Bonk. But another fellow, he was a tax collector, And it's not bad to be a tax collector today, but in those days, tax collectors worked for their enemies. And so he was disliked by everybody, and he probably lived a life that showed it. He didn't live a good life. So when he came into the temple, what did he do?
Lord, have mercy on me.
Oh, look, he's suddenly short enough. Wait a second. Could I do that too? Lord, have mercy on me. Is there anybody else who might be too tall and wants to see if this will work for them? Anybody else want to come up and see if that works? I think it'll work no matter how tall you are.
Lord, have mercy on me.
Oh.
Now, you don't all have to come up. But if you think maybe you've missed your chance, maybe you've got too much on your plate and God wouldn't love you, the truth is he's always loved you, and he's always wanted you to come. And you can be short enough to enter the kingdom of heaven just by going down on your knees and saying, Lord, have mercy on me. Isn't that good news? Thank you, Ollie. Thank you, kids. God is so good.